Okay, so you kind of heard a little bit about me. Um, my name's Jodi Carpenter, and I have been an agent since 2004. So when we moved to Hawaii with the military, became an agent there. So that was pretty interesting. Moved back to the mainland in 2007, and then started coaching in 2016. Oh, there she is. Hi. And let's see, have her get settled, and then we will
so
keep
she's here.
rolling. Awesome. That's a long drive.
Hello.
Awesome.
I can see up there.
I know, but so they can see you.
I want to see your face.
You're right here.
Oh, nice.
You're like, hi.
All right, so
So
I'm gonna jump Jodi. I think you're all set.
Okay.
All right, great. Nice meeting you.
We'll see you. You too, Martin.
Good to see you, Kim, as well.
Good to see you, Martin.
Guys.
Quick question.
Yes.
Once I leave out of here, I was told I have a badge or something in my mailbox.
Yes, I can show you.
Can I go with him for like 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's not even. It's like probably 20 seconds. It's right
20
here.
seconds. All right, I'm going to start counting. No. You're fine. Don't rush. Funny. She drove in from Queens.
Oh, wow.
Martin said that's like 2 hours.
That's right. And just by rush hour is probably 2 hours and a half.
That's crazy. Wow. I remember in Hawaii, it was like that, but we were only going 20 miles and it would take 2 hours. Jeez. Get out of that mess. But good. So are you from that area where you live?
I'm actually 15 minutes from the actual office in New City.
Oh,
so
okay.
Not too far off. But today I had to take the call from home.
But no, that's fine. That's why I gave everyone the link, because I'm like, wherever you are, I want you to get on and be engaged and all of that. So I love that we're able to do this for you guys in the evening. Part of my discovery as a coach, since I've been a coach from 2016, has been dual career agent. So that's what I call those of you who have another job and are doing real estate. So you're dual career, you are not part-time. So we're going to take that verbiage out of your mind. You're not part-time agents, you're dual career. So that means you're working 2 jobs. Yay, you. So there are many months that I had my dual career agents kicking my full-time agents' butts in production. Wow, and everyone's like, what are they doing? I'm like, well, they know they only have this much time to do real estate, and they do it. Where my full-time agents are like, I got all day, and then they don't do anything. You know, they go shopping, they do their laundry, and I'm like, so they kind of got a little rude awakening when on our production board, the dual career agents were at the top and they were not. So I love dual career agents, and I love that you take your time even after you've been working all day or whatever it is you've been doing all day, and, you know, pour into yourself, give yourself some time to really dive into this real estate thing.
That's right.
So Kim, what do you do during the day?
So I actually, I run my own digital media company myself, and I have a business partner. And I've been doing that for 2 years and a half now. I do it full time, and a lot of the work that I do is remote. And a lot of the currently the type of work that I do is video shooting and filming. And I work with pre-secondary school, so high schools in New York. But also the DMV area, which is like Washington, D.C. So I do a lot of traveling as well. And, you know, getting into real estate, I'm really excited about it because it's something that my parents have always instilled in me. My dad's actually a contractor, home contractor. And he's always talked about, Kim, you know, you should look into it. And it just interests me now because I think within like a year and a half or 2 years from now, I plan on purchasing my first home. So I definitely want to learn more about it, but most importantly,
Perfect.
I'm excited about, actually diving in and building my own practice.
Very good. Love it. So, how do you pronounce your name? Bernadette?
Bernadette, that's right.
Bernadette. Okay. So, how long have you had your license?
Since June.
Since June. Okay. So, and do you
I'm
work in,
new.
you're new. Nice. Do you work in Queens? Is that why you were coming from there?
Yes, I work in Queens,
And you live up in that area where you're at now?
Rockland County.
Wow. And you do that every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not as bad as I moved to Rockland County from Orange County in February. So before my commute was like 2 hours,
Oh,
two and a
wow.
half hours. So now it's not so bad.
Okay. So, do you both intend to transition into real estate full time?
I hope to, but I have some years before I'm eligible for retirement from my
Okay.
full-time job.
Great.
And I've been with my company 31 years, so I just can't walk away
Yep.
without getting penalized with my pension and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep. Gotcha. No, I had one just like that. He worked for GM here, and he has, well, I think he's must be only 5 years left now because I started coaching him 3 years ago.
Oh, that's
And he's
wonderful.
like, I don't intend to quit my job because I want to get all of my years for my pension. And I'm like, I really appreciate that. And he's the one who's kicking all my full-time agents' butts. I'm like, he's working 50 hours a day and then he's doing real estate. And I'm like, he's crazy. So he's been
And then
very
too,
successful.
I have a family. My health benefits are through my job.
Yep.
So if I was to do this full time, I wouldn't have any health benefits, and I have children.
Okay. Perfect. So good. I love to just kind of get a little feel for where you're at and where you want to go. So this is nice. It's kind of a little intimate group here. So yesterday we had about 11, so I didn't get to know them that well. So I appreciate you guys taking some time with me.
Thank you.
Yes, I am with the locker room. So we are a coaching platform that we've rolled out for tracking and accountability, and it's just a really great community. I started with them as a coach in 2017 as a productivity coach in my market center here in Kansas. And I am now on the board of directors for the locker room.
Oh,
So kind of
congratulations.
worked my way up, which is really fun. And love what I'm doing. I'm really, the last few years, I think between the last 2 or 3 years, I've done maybe 15 sides, so 15 transactions as a realtor, and really finding my passion as a coach, trainer, educator in that realm. So kind of where my business is kind of shifting and moving towards that direction. A couple of housekeeping things. We do have a couple of Facebook pages, so I will be friend requesting you. If you'd accept my friend request, I would be so honored. And then I will add you into those groups. And we have one, it's the Locker Room Nation Facebook page, which is going to be a really good resource for you if you ever have any referrals around the country and you don't know an agent somewhere. So let's say you know someone or have family or friends in Texas, and you're like, I don't know any agent in Texas. You can know that in the Locker Room Nation that we do have agents in Texas, Florida, Georgia, all over, New York. Since you're a big state, people think you're a little state, but you're a big state. And then we have, all the way west. So if you ever need a referral, that's a great place to go to get some referral sources. And then also we just kind of put some fun stuff in there as the coaches. And then we're going to have our own Hudson Valley Coaching Facebook page, which I'll post things in, motivational, little things that you need to know. Like today I posted a Keller Williams agent in Encino, California. I don't know if you've seen that on Facebook, but she was attacked, and it was recorded on like one of those Ring doorbells. And she did survive. She's fine. But still, just keeping ourselves safe and not getting ourselves into situations that are unsafe. So I just post little tidbits on there. And let's see here. So we talked about how long you've been in the business, full-time, you're both dual career. And Bernadette, have you sold any real estate since you started in June? Have you closed?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
I'm
So-
still going through the training aspect and learning all the different sites and everything.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So we're going to get you guys kind of rolling and starting with buyers and what that looks like. Okay. A few things I'm going to show you first. Expectations for this program that I've put together. I'd like you to attend 80% of the sessions through the next few weeks that I'll be with you guys. I don't think that's unreasonable. I used to think you should be here 100% of the time because I was. So, and my coach said that's not reasonable. Get a grip, and so there we go. 80% is the number I came up with. And be in an area that you don't have distractions, so you both are good right now and where you're at. Even Bernadette, if you need to be at home, that's fine as long as there's no distractions. That'll be good. Sometimes we have to go into the office so we don't have those distractions.
Will the courses always be in the evening?
Yes, every
Okay.
Tuesday at 6.
Okay.
And just
That's
for you guys. So I do a morning and then I do an evening.
Okay.
And then
I do have a quick question, Jodi. By any chance, like, because my weekly schedule changes, I plan on attending every meeting. By any chance, if I next week was to attend Monday from 10 to 11:30, does that work?
Yes, you can attend either one or both.
Okay.
That's up to you. I thought there was one, she goes, I might get back on tonight. So you just never know who's going to be here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if you need to do a day one time and a night, that's totally cool. I just take attendance and whoever's there is there. So great question though. Have a notebook, be ready to take notes because I am going to go through some things you may want to jot down and remember. Have your video on at all times, so we're good with that. I take attendance in the first 5 minutes, and I do that because I need to then, I have a weekly meeting with your team leader, Louise, so we can go over who was there, who's engaging, and things like that, so she can kind of keep a pulse on what's happening. And then I'll go over some tracking and action items, and I will be logging those, again, for my meeting with Louise. And so you both know this is a safe place for asking questions. So don't leave here ever with a question lingering. If you need to ask me, if you're like, oh, I don't want to ask in front of everybody, just know that there's probably someone else thinking the exact same thing. So you'll be helping the group. All right. For our first thing, we do have a tracking system, and I'm going to share my screen here with you. Can you both see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me move this little guy up here so he's not covering stuff up. I will be adding you to what we call CORE, our Center of Real Estate. And this is where you're going to keep track of your contacts made, contacts added, closings volume, things like that. Okay, so we're going to really, really focus on tracking numbers because it's really fun to then kind of see, well, what does that look like for my business, right? So we're going to even break it down to what is the percentage of business from sellers, business from buyers, and then go into conversion rates, right? Here's some contacts to appointment ratios. So if you log 5 contacts and you log 2 appointments, well, that's pretty good. That's almost 50% conversion, right?
That's
so we can really play with these numbers and see where we're at. So of course, it's all going to start at 0. And when you're logging, there's going to be a lot of zeros. And I want to tell you, there's power in those zeros. Okay, we all have to start somewhere. And when the space shuttle gets ready to launch, they count down, they don't count up, right? So 0 is launch, not 10. So 0 is a really powerful number in your business, knowing that can only go up from there. We can't go down, right? We can't have negative contacts. So just embrace the 0 and we're going to move past it. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my allergies are so crazy right now. Have a little water here. Keep me going. So the first thing you'll do, I will set you up. It probably will be tomorrow. We're having a little glitch with the sign-ins right now on the setup. I just want to run you through this so you could see a little bit about what this looks like. In your email, I'll also attach a manual, so you'll have a step-by-step direction on how to do it. It'll be in PDF format. So first thing you'll do once you log in and have your password, it's individual to you, you'll click on Goal Meter. Okay, and this is just where you're going to set your goals. So you would go here, select goal type. So let's say I'm going to do listing appointments. And it doesn't matter what color you make it. It's just, if you like dark green, then choose all dark green, or do all different colors. It doesn't matter. So let's say I've gone through, one thing we'll go through as a group later on in the earlier in October, we'll be setting our goals. So we'll look at our net and figure out what is it we're going to need to do, how many listing appointments. So let's say to reach my goal, I need 4 listing appointments per month. I hit save, and then that comes in here. You can always edit it, okay, or clear it. Okay, next thing we're going to go to, excuse me, is this success tracker. So this is what you're going to do every day to track what your activities are for the day and your production. So you just go over here to enter data, and the report date will be today. You can always backdate it. So if you forget to do today and you need to do it tomorrow, you can back it up. And then here are activities: new contacts made, contacts added to your database, buyer business, seller business, and closed transactions. So right now, while you're going through the training and everything, the activities are where we really want you to focus, right? Making those contacts, contacting your people, getting in touch with them, and don't overthink what a contact is. Pretty much if you're having a two-way conversation about real estate, that is a contact, okay? Let's not get hung up on the definition of that. I know in the new bold that they're rolling out, even if it's text, even if it's Facebook Messenger, whatever it is, as long as you're having two-way communication, it's a contact, okay? So pretty easy there. And then we have the week in review. So this is just really a spot for you to go to maybe Sunday evening, open that up, and just kind of reflect on your last week and what you look forward to doing your next focus for the week ahead. So within the previous week, what did you learn about yourself or your business? What's your primary focus? Once you hit save on that, I get a notification that you've sent that in, and I can review that. So if there's something that you're, like, oh, I really need help with this, always can reach out to me, but I can take a look at this and have a little heads up and be like, oh, okay, maybe there's maybe a tool or a video or something I can get to you to help you with that skill or mindset or whatever. Okay, so super simple there. And then toolkit. So this is fun when you get in here. This is our toolkit. And there's just several things in here. Documents. Let's see here. Goal setting, buyer documents, seller documents, lead gen, BizBo's expired scripts, team building. Okay, so there's a whole little library here for you guys to get into. Some really fun stuff in there. Locker Room University, once you get logged into your core dashboard, then you'll want to set up a Locker Room University account. So what this is going to do, I've already signed in, so you'll see kind of my dashboard here. And I have mostly coach stuff. But there are some orientations in here, like core agent orientation, that literally walks you step by step through how to get in, kind of how to work with core and play with that. We have some huddles in here that are archived: business planning, time management, listings. There's just so much in here. And these are all little modules. So like, let's say I opened up this lead gen one. I can go through this module, and it's kind of just a step-by-step. Your database, your sphere, cultivating your 5 relationships. So it's really a good place for you in the evening or whatever, if you want to just pop in, watch a little module like this one. Oh, they don't have the time on here. Usually they have how long it is, but it'll probably be maybe an hour. You know, you could always watch it. If you don't finish it, you can always come back to it. Okay. So just a really great place to get some information and some education outside of the office business hours. And then we have our own website. You guys have your own website, hudsonvalleycoaching.com. And what that's going to have on there is you can log in, right? So if you just go to hudsonvalleycoaching.com, you can get into Core right here. And this is our calendar. Right? So I have all the calendar sessions on here. So this is today's. And typically I'll have a little kind of what we're going to go over, a little agenda there. So you can look at it. And the Zoom link will always be here as well. Okay, so if you need that. Okay, and then there is a scheduler here. If you're like, oh, I need to talk to her, then you can always schedule some time with me. That just goes right to my scheduler, and you can just click on quick meeting, pick a date. If it's blue, it's available. If you need an evening, you can always let me know. But that's another way that I can kind of get with you if you need a little extra help. Let's see here. Okay, well, that's good. We started a little late, but I got finished in the 30 minutes, so we should be good to go. Any questions so far on any of that?
No, but I do have a question. How is this different from Bold and Command and all the other systems that Keller Williams is using?
Right, so they don't have a tracking system like this. And then this is purely a system for coaching agents. So okay. The whole, like everybody in Keller Williams doesn't get this. We're in about 100 Keller Williams market centers right now with the locker room. So we have coaches in there with the locker room that are all running the same program. That's a great question. So you'll need to learn Command for your database. So we don't have a database. We're just more information accounting and or accountability and tracking.
The tracking, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Awesome, perfect. So I'm going to unshare my screen now. There we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about buyers today and kind of how that video was very timely that I posted into the Facebook page. The very first thing I talk about when talking about buyer consultation and preparation is meeting at the office. If at all possible, if you don't know the person, meet them at the office, if at all possible. So like Bernadette, you just got your key badge to get into the office, right? So you guys have after hours access.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have after hours access if you need it. But even if, you know, that may not be the safest either if you're going into the office by yourself with somebody you don't know. So just be really smart about where you meet buyers, how you meet them, if you know them or not. You know, I know some agents that ask for ID and take a picture of it, so it's on their phone. You know, it just kind of depends on the feeling that you're getting when you talk to someone. If they refuse to meet you at the office, my policy for my business is I refuse to do business with them. Okay. I'm not in the habit of, you know, giving business away or shooing it away, but I am in the habit of making sure that I'm safe and that I don't get injured or killed or, you know, whatever. So if I'm not getting a good feeling out of it, just know that you don't have to work with every buyer that comes your way, or partner up with somebody. Have someone meet with you or something like that. We all, you know, the buddy system is always a good policy if you're meeting someone you don't know, or bringing them to the office during business hours so that there's someone there and they can, you typically won't get crazy in the office. And then pre-approval. So when you're working with a buyer, You'll want to make sure that they're pre-approved with a reputable lender. Some of them will come with, online lenders and stuff like that. As you grow your business, you'll grow your team of lenders. I like to have about 3 or 4 different lenders on my list. And how you can kind of figure out who people like to work with is start talking to the agents in your office, or, figuring out who do they like to work with, who's in your market center, presenting, or, things like that. So you'll want to build a really good solid list of lenders. Here's my 3 criteria how a lender stays on my list. Communication is number 1. Honesty and on-time closing. Okay, so those are the 3 ways a lender stays on my list. They break one of those, they come off my list. Now, if the closing isn't on time, but it's not the lender's fault, they'll stay on my list, okay? Because there are so many factors that could happen there that is maybe out of their control. But communication is huge. I don't want to have to call them and be like, is this done? Is the appraisal ordered? I don't have time for that. That's not my job. It's their job to keep me posted on what's happening. So I don't know, you're both newer. If any lenders have called and said, hey, you want to go to coffee? You want to go to coffee with them? Ask them, say, hey, what's your communication plan? Right? That's a great question. If they say, what? That means they don't have one. So make sure that you have some good questions, communication plan, what's your on-time closing percentage? If something isn't really going perfect, are you honest about that, or do you try to sugarcoat it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, news is news. Whether it's good or bad, we still have to deal with it. And I don't want to know 2 days before closing if they knew 30 days before closing that there was an issue. So those are my 3 ways they get to stay on my list. Okay, make sense?
It does.
So when you're talking to your buyer and you just, are asking them, have you been pre-approved with a lender? And if they say no, but we really, really want you to show us this house today. Well, I just go, okay, I appreciate that. And our first step in buying a home is getting pre-approved so that we know what your buying power is. So remember those words, buying power,
Okay.
not what you can afford. So we know what your buying power is, right? Do you see the difference in those words?
Yes.
Buying power, can't afford, okay? And I didn't learn that when I was new. I wish I had, because it makes the conversation so much easier. We need to know what your buying power is so that should you love this house, we are ready to go and put an offer on it. And we're not wasting our time looking at houses that don't meet your criteria. Okay, so just remember, words matter. I've learned that as I've gone through my career, that you can just tweak 1 or 2 words and it makes a whole bit of difference on how that relationship and how that conversation is going to move forward. So buying power. And it makes the buyer feel like, ooh, I have power, where they're probably feeling a little, powerless at this point because they don't know what to do. Well, we need to get you in a position of power. And when we make an offer, we will submit that pre-approval so that they know you're serious and ready to roll, right? So they've got the power. All right. So have you guys seen a copy of your buyer exclusive right to represent document?
No.
Okay, so you guys need to get your hands on that and study it. And I don't believe that you've switched. Do you guys have .loop access right now?
We should, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, or DocuSign, because we're switching over. I know the whole company is switching from .loop to DocuSign, and all of us who've been using .loop since 2009 are freaking out. You guys are lucky. You don't know the difference yet. We're all like, no, don't make us change. Or your office may have, be able to help you get access to that document. One of the most one of the ways that you can present yourself as a professional with confidence and competence is knowing those agreements, knowing how to share them with your buyer, give them the highlight reel, right? So that they understand what they're signing. Have you ever had someone push a piece of paper in front of you and say, sign?
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
Terrible. I have to let them know. No.
Doesn't feel good. So we
Yeah.
need to remember as agents to review that document with our buyer before they sign it.
Right.
Okay, this is part of my practice, and I know that I would say 98% of the time I have presented that document and gone over it with my buyer so that I can be confident that I did it. Now, you may have a buyer's like, I don't care, whatever, and you're like, you know what, this is part of how I run my business, and so I'm going to go over this whether you listen to me or not, right? Because then I know that I did it, and when they come back and say, well, I didn't know that, because you didn't listen. I mean, I'm nicer than that, but you get the gist. That's what I'd like to say. That's not what I say. So just know that when you know those documents inside and out, and you can just run through it so that they feel comfortable with what they're being represented on, what the brokerage represents, what they need to do, what you're going to do, it puts your bar as a professional a lot higher. I've taught agents this, and they're like, man, I fought like 3 houses and no one ever did that for me. Right? And you signed it? Yep. Okay. So, build yourself up as that professional who goes to the next level.
Okay.
That presents that document at the consultation, right? Before anything, so you can review it. Now, if they say, well, I really just want to look at this one house, I don't want to sign an agreement, I'll usually say, great. As long as you have a pre-approval, you get 1 freebie. And then after that, we're going to make sure that we both want to work together. And at that point, you'll hire me. And by hiring me to represent you and negotiate on your behalf, we will sign this agreement. And this agreement is a commitment between the 2 of us, right? It's with my brokerage, with me as your agent. And so it's your commitment to me that you'll use me exclusively to help you buy a house. And it's my commitment to you. Okay, so I'm committing my time, effort, energy, experience, knowledge to you as well. So it's a 2-way piece of paper. A lot of agents get scared of it or nervous of it because they're like, they don't want to sign it. Well, they don't want you to commit to them. So it's a 2-way commitment. So make sure you explain that to them. It's a 2-way commitment. It's not just you committing to me as an agent. It's also me committing to you.
Right.
So that is your exclusive right to represent. Get your hands on that, study it, circle it, highlight it. I don't know your contracts or your forms, so there should be someone in your office, your broker in charge or somebody. If you have questions on that, ask them. Okay, if you're not clear on something, ask. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
It does.
And that'll really step you up as a professional. I've had buyers who, they've had their first buyer consultation and they're like, my buyer was so shocked that I went over that with them. They bought houses before. I'm like, oh my gosh, people are signing stuff and they don't know what the heck they're signing. Oh, it makes me nervous. So I might have
a house. They just want a house.
Right? So let's get them back to logic. So I do a lot of taking people from emotion to logic and logic to emotion, right?
Okay.
As needed. So keeping them in logic now while they're not already in the emotional throes of having seen a house and and they're all excited. So, but yeah, it just sets you apart as a professional. Let's see here. So you can review that before your consultation, at your consultation, whatever seems appropriate, right? The timing. But make sure that they sign that. Again, I give them 1 freebie and then they have to hire me.
Okay.
Right? That's just kind of how this works. I'm not here to be a tour guide.
Right.
I don't get paid till they do something. So spending my gas and my money and my time, we need to make sure we're committed to each other.
I do have a quick question. So
Yes.
when does that agreement terminate? Like, is it obviously there has to be a mutual agreement between both parties, right? And then when else would that agreement, terminate?
I haven't seen a copy of yours, but typically there'll be a start date and an end date that you
Okay.
would write on the agreement. Okay, it may be a set time in your area, I'm not sure. So typically I do 6 months.
Okay.
That's what I do. There's no like standard. I've had agents do it for a week. Like they're like, just sign with me for a week. If you're not happy with me for a week, then we'll go our separate way, or we'll extend this for 6 months. Right? So that's how we do it here. So that may, I don't know if that's different in your area, but typically there's a designated length of time set by somebody.
Okay.
That's agreed to. Great question.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Definitely have to start asking around
Yeah.
to more seasoned agents, see what.
Yep, exactly. Just ask them. I have the nickname of Contract Nazi. So I love contracts, and I think they're extremely important to understand. I've been on our forms committee at our board of realtors for 3 years. I was the chairman last year. So I'm a certified contract Nazi now in our area. And I just really feel that sets you apart, just knowing those, because that's part of your consultation is going through that. You're covering a lot of ground just in that document and making your buyer feel really comfortable with working with you. Like, hey, this person knows what the heck they're talking about.
As well as like you're able to invest more into your client and dedicate more time, and rather than not having anything in place, you don't know what they're thinking, and
Yep.
you can't really dedicate the time that you need for them.
Exactly. So it's a very important document, and that you get it signed up front, again, to solidify that commitment that goes both ways.
That's right.
Okay. So another thing in our consultation, or you could ask this of them ahead of time, have them put together a list of their wants and needs, right? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, square footage. Do you guys have basements there?
Yes.
Yeah. Do they want a basement? Is it finished? Do they want a yard? Does it have a fence? What do they want? And then have them rank those 1 to 5. 1 being, I cannot live without this. And 5 being, we'd be okay if we didn't get that. Okay. Having them rank that 1 to 5. And this serves a couple different purposes. If you're doing it in your consultation, then you can make a copy of that list. And when you're out showing houses and they want to see a house that has none of their ones on it, like they've said they have to have 4 bedroom, 3 bath, finished basement, and a 2-car garage, and they want you to show a house that has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, you're like, what the heck? So then you can start a conversation and say, what has changed? What about this house is making you settle for less than your number ones? Right? Starts a great conversation. What has changed? And let them tell you. They may go, oh, it only had 2 bedrooms? Yeah, then we're not going to go see it. Right? So instead of going, okay, I'll make that appointment, you run them over there and they're like, that's 2 bedrooms. We need 4. Well, I know that, right? So do some of that up front so that you're not running yourselves ragged, showing these people things that they don't even want. I had an agent yesterday ask me, well, what if they send you a list of 15 houses from Zillow and say, I want to see all 15? My answer to that is have them drive by all 15 first, because they'll be able to take at least half of those off the list just by driving by. Nothing's worse than preparing and setting up 15 appointments and pulling up to 7 of them and having your buyer go, I don't even want to go in. You've wasted the seller's time because now they've prepped for the showing. They've got their kids and their dogs and everyone out of the house, and you don't even go. So I do the little drive-by trick. Have them drive by first, take the list, and mark the ones off they don't want to see. 90% of the time, half of those come off that list. So there, you just solved your problem. You don't have to show 15 houses tonight.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, have them drive by. Now, no one told me these things that I'm sharing with you of my 15 years of experience up front. So I did these things. So don't think I started off not doing the wrong things. You guys are just lucky enough to have someone to help you not do the wrong things and waste your time and money. Okay, so the wants and needs list, right? Go over that.
Okay.
Make sure, and when they, so this is going to be part of that wants and needs process when they say, you know, let's say they say, I want a big backyard. Well, what do you see when you think big backyard? Is it the same for all three of us on here? Do you think we all see the same thing when we say big backyard?
No.
Probably not, right? So you're going to need to ask them 2 or 3 more questions about what does big backyard mean? Okay, so what do you intend to do in the backyard? Oh, well, we have 2 big dogs. Well, how big are they? Well, they're huskies. Oh, wow. Okay, so does the yard need a fence? Or would you be willing to put a fence in? Well, we'd really like a fence to already be there. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, we don't want to look at houses if we don't have to that don't have fences already up. Okay. Okay, so are the dogs going to be outside most of the time or inside most of the time? Right? So do you see how those questions can help you narrow down what they can look at? So doing a lot of this work up front at the consultation is going to save all of you time and effort. Okay. Let's say they want a 4-bedroom. Okay, great. What about 4 bedrooms, you know, fills your need? Well, we really need an office. Oh, so we could do a 3-bedroom with a bonus room. Yes. Okay, great. That's going to open up a few more things for us to look at. Right? So just ask them deeper questions. We call it scuba diving. Don't snorkel with them, scuba dive with them. Do 2 or 3 questions. When they tell you what they need, go 2 or 3 questions deep. Okay? Get more clarity on that. What does that really mean? Because a big backyard to me is going to be, you know, it could be, I want to put an acre garden in, right? That's big to me. But to someone else, it may just be, I need to keep my poodle in from running around the neighborhood, right? So it doesn't need to be acreage, right? So figure out, what does that mean to them? So I don't want to make any assumptions at this point. Because when I start doing that, I start showing them properties that they don't want. Okay, this helps you do a lot of work up front and really, really hone in on what it is that they really, really will like. So I had a client, it was an online lead, met him for a consultation, took him to the first house, and he was a lieutenant colonel. We're military community up here. He's like, the last time I bought a house, my agent showed me 70 houses. I was like, did you say 17 or 70? He goes, 70. Wow. I said, first of all, there's not 70 houses that match your criteria in this area. And second of all, I'm better than that. And he was like, I said, we're not looking at 70 houses. We're not even going to look at 20. We're going to look at maybe 12, and you're going to buy one, right? He was like, oh, okay. Right? Setting the expectation that I am not going to show you 70 houses. That's not how any of this is going to work. They signed with me. I showed them 4 houses. The last one was a little, well, not a little, a lot above their price range, but had been on market for almost a year.
Okay.
And I'm like, So I said, do you guys mind? I have one more house. I set it up as a showing because I've been wanting to get in it and see it. It's a little above your price range, but would you like be my clients so that I don't look like a weirdo just walking in by myself? They're like, sure. And it was just down the street from one. Walked in the front door and they're like, we love it. Like, I knew you would. This is your house. And they're like, what? Like, you tricked us. I'm like, I knew you'd love it. I'd never even been in it, but I knew that was the house. And they still live there and they love it. And we got a smoking deal on it. Like,
okay.
The agent was like, I cannot believe my sellers are taking that offer. We wrote the offer and they took it. No counter offer, nothing. The agent was so mad. She's
That's
like,
good.
if I would have known they'd gone that low, I would have made an offer. I'm like, well, I didn't. So we got it. So you just never know, right? But I knew that was the house for them. And if we could get a good deal, I knew that we could make it happen.
That was
So,
good.
so that's the fun part of buyers. But I told them it's not one that was on their list. I never sent it to them. I said, just come with me, would you? I want to see this house. Oh, I opened the front door and they walked in literally and were like, this is the one. I know, all good. I'll do whatever I can to make it yours. So there we went. So that was 5 houses. Last agent showed him 70. I showed him 5 and one that wasn't even on their list, and that's the one they got.
That was good.
Right? You just gotta get in their head. And when you're showing houses, listen to them, right? Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're drawn to, what they say. Oh, the kids would love that. Ooh, the kids would love that, taking notes or whatever. So then when a house pops up or you start looking, and maybe it's a house that they were like, oh, we don't want to see that, but you're like, I think this one might be close. We're going to go see it anyway, right? And then you're going to be the hero and they're going to love you and they'll be like, you're so awesome. So that's how all that turns out. We're still friends and it's super cool. Let's see. So I know in your area, you guys don't write your purchase contracts, right? The attorneys do.
Yes.
So that's different than us because we write the contract. It's like we have a 16
I'm
in
sorry,
Kansas.
Oh, wow.
I'm in Kansas, so right by Kansas City. So we write our contracts. They're 16 pages and we fill in the blanks. It's crazy. I was like, ooh, I'd like someone to write my contract for me. That sounds awesome. However, I know you do have a pre-contract kind of thing you fill in for your buyers and stuff like that. Again, get your hands on that and review that so you can go over that with your buyer at the consultation. And then send them a copy of that so that they know what it looks like so that they're not in an emotional state when they first see it, right? Get that to them up front. Also, a blank seller's disclosure, the disclosure that the seller has to fill out about the house. Get them a blank one of those so that they can look through it and know, hey, when we start looking at houses, we're going to see this. And this way they can look at it up front. And if they have any questions, you can answer them right away.
That's the seller's disclosure?
Yes. I don't know exactly what you guys call it, but it is like the disclosure of property and condition.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm leading up to with a couple of these things is having some buyer packets prepared. That's going to be one of your action items for this week until next week, is preparing 5 buyer packets. So when you have your consultation, you just take that packet in with you and you have it ready to go. You'll have you'll have a copy of the exclusive right to represent in there, right? So you can go over that. If you want to make just a little Word doc and have wants and needs, rank 1 to 5 so that they have a piece of paper to write on if you want to put that in there.
Okay.
The purchase contract, the blank seller's disclosure. And then if there's any home warranty companies that you guys use in your office, put their brochures in there as well, because you can talk to them about those home warranties and how they work. And a little tidbit on home warranties is they don't cover everything. They cover what they cover, basically. So if you have any brochures in the office on home warranties, grab those and read through them. I don't know what companies you guys have there, but I like to know.
That home warranties?
Home warranty.
Okay.
So a home warranty is kind of like, you know how you buy a car and they want to sell you the warranty?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. You can get a home warranty on the house that covers like your mechanicals and things like that a homeowner's policy wouldn't cover.
Okay.
Yep. So you should have some brochures in the office that you can read through.
Okay. Check.
And they only cover what they cover. They don't cover everything. And they don't cover pre-existing conditions either. Okay. Lenders, we talked about having a good list of lenders. You can put that in your packet. Hopefully you've sent that to them ahead of time because they're coming to you pre-approved, but if they haven't, you can have your 3 or 4 lenders on there that you can share with them. And if you have a lender that you build a relationship with and you know you're having a buyer consult, you could ask that lender to join you. Say, hey, could you come in about, we're meeting at 2, could you come in at 2:30? And they're not pre-approved, but just talk to them, kind of walk them through the process, yada, yada, make them feel really comfortable at that with the lender info. Attorney list. So I know you guys use attorneys for your closings and such. You could have some of them in there. And the people you're going to find for these lists, since you're new, if you don't know them, again, just ask the agents in the office. Who do they like to use? Does your office have any, of these vendors that sponsor things at the office or things like that, okay? And then your home inspectors. Have a good list of home inspectors. And I always say rule of thumb, and it's also a RESPA, kind of a RESPA thing, which is making sure that we don't just promote one person all the time. Have 3 of each on your sheet so that the buyer can choose. And you can always have a conversation. Hey, this person I worked with a lot. I think you would get along with them. My lenders, I try to pick lenders with different personality and different styles. So if I have a first-time home buyer, I want a lender who's going to really hold their hand, walk them through the process. But that's not going to be the lender I want to send my lieutenant colonel to, right? Because my lieutenant colonel is going to be like, oh my God, just where do I sign? Right? So you may have your very, like lender, and then your lender who just walks them through the process. So mix it up a little bit. So that's what I would have, and you can always tweak this, remove things, add things as you work through your business in your packet with you. So if you're sitting there and you're going through that packet, that is your consultation. Okay. There is a buyer presentation packet within Connect and Command and eEdge. I don't know if you're in there yet. So many places that you can create that has more information on Keller Williams and things like that. But I'm telling you, this is my packet, and I just get, I don't know if your office sells them, but like just a Keller Williams folder like this, just the 2-pocket thing, or even just one from, when the school supplies are out, I go crazy and I buy all the red folders. So that I just have a whole stack of them, and then I can start filling them up. So whatever you want to use, I believe when you're a new agent that you want to make sure you don't overspend on things you don't need to. And you won't ever find me spending money on anything and more money than I need to. I'm always researching. So if I give you a tip or trick on where to buy something, know that I've researched it a million ways. And I'm not paying more than I need to. Well, I will pay a little more for quality, right? But I don't go crazy. As a new agent, there's 2 ways you can get business. You can prospect and you can market. So prospecting is what I call guerrilla marketing. It's not where you're spending a ton of money, but you're spending time, right? We have 2 commodities as an agent, time and money. Well, as a new agent, you're probably spending more time than money at this point because to prospect in your business, because you don't have the money yet. You don't have the revenue. You don't have the profit yet. So spend your time wisely. And when you do spend money, spend it wisely. Make it work for you. Okay. But right now we're really working on time and making that time very valuable. Because at some point in your career, you're going to be worth $200 an hour, at least.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So don't start out thinking you're worth $5 an hour. Okay. Get in the mindset that I'm working towards being a high dollar per hour person. So then you start thinking and working smart. Right? You spend your time, your commodity of time, very, very well. All right. Any questions on that?
No. Good suggestions. Everything is good.
Awesome. I love it. Good, good. Okay. So trying to think what else kind of went through that quick because there's only 2 of you. Last time we had 11, so there were a ton of questions. It took just a little more time. But yeah, really just, I'm very passionate about agents knowing their agreements, their contracts, their forms. And I'm telling you, that's where you're going to grow your confidence and competence. Okay. That's the quickest way to do that, is to know those, study those. If you have somebody in your world that you could present it to, right? They don't know, but it just gives you the opportunity to keep doing it, keep doing it. And it's not, at first, you're not going to be perfect. It's not going to sound great. You're going to not sound, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't sound great. But I'd rather you practice on someone else that's not your client. Okay, we don't practice on our clients.
Right.
So we have to practice, and then we get to perform. Practice takes longer than the performance, right? Football players, they practice all week for 1 day a week performance, but they're practicing all week, right? Actors, they have a script. They practice all week for one filming. It's just, we have to consider ourselves at that level of professionalism and not just winging it. Winging it's when we get into trouble. So, let's see here. Any questions on buyers?
None for me right now.
Okay. Are you both on social media, Facebook, Instagram, things like that?
Not me. I have to do all that. Not me. Because I'm not too technical.
Right? And that's okay.
I'm on social media. I have it for my current business.
Mm-hmm.
My personal account, I have to reactivate it again because I plan on creating a business page.
Perfect.
For Keller Williams. And Instagram, I'm pretty active on that one.
Good. Well, that's why I said Instagram, because I have it. I don't use it. I'm like, what is this thing? So I really need someone to sit down with me. And I'm super techie, but if I don't care about it, then I'm not going to do it. So Facebook is for old people. I know, whatever. But wherever you are, and yes, Bernadette, unfortunately, we have to be on Facebook for sure, because that is the best way to get a lot of people to see that you're working, right? Okay. That you're in real estate, that you're working the business. Do you guys do any open houses? Are you going to do open house?
Shadowed one so far.
You shadowed one so far. So that's what I recommend, is that you find an agent in the office and shadow them. Okay, find someone who's doing open house at a high level and shadow them. Okay, for your first couple. And if I had to start this business all over as a brand new agent, I would be doing open house all day, every day. That's how I would jumpstart my business. So especially, whatever times I can on the weekend. We're going to have a session later on in a few weeks about open houses. But I'm going to show you one thing, and I'll attach it to your email. When I send that to you, the recap to you, let me find, let's see. So what I recommend, share my screen here, is doing a level 5 open house. Okay. So a level 1 is you just put a sign in the yard saying when the open house is. Let's see if I can make that bigger. There we go. Sign in the yard, sign in the yard, sign in the yard with balloons and riders. Now I know a lot of areas don't like balloons, but you could do a little flag, a pinwheel, something to get attention, right? Something that's going to get attention. Level 3 is putting directional signs at all the corners. Hey, go here, turn here, and putting another visual on there. So most of us stop at level 3. This is all we do. Level 4 is going to add in flyer before the week before, email invites posted on websites. I would add social media. This was from the book called Shift, which is a great book. I recommend both of you get this book and read it. Gary Keller did write it. Okay, it's called Shift. And this visual that I'm showing you right now is straight out of this book. So it was, this was written, when was this written? A while back. So it doesn't really address social media a lot. 2009. So it doesn't address social media a lot, but I would add that here to level 4, social media. Okay. Now, invite everyone you know, even if they don't live in New York. Send them an email, send whatever. You can create an event on Facebook, invite all your friends. Why would I say invite people that don't even live by you?
They may know someone in the area, or
They may know someone in the area. Yep.
or know of someone that is interested in that.
Yep. So they may know someone. And also, we want to keep you top of mind with everybody so they see you as a realtor. So if they're like, oh, Kim's doing an open house again. Look at, oh, she's doing another one. Bernadette, she's out doing open houses. Now you're getting some clout, right? Because they see you working. Level 5, go door knocking. Invite 100 neighbors. Okay. Level 6, level 7. So they just add 1 as we go up. So do at least a level 5 open house, invite neighbors. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that real quick. And most agents, when they start knocking doors for open house, their script is, you know, you may know someone who might like, you know, to live in this area, or you get to pick your neighbor. Well, our buyer's going to organically walk into an open house, pretty much, right? They're going to see the signs. They're on Zillow. They're on our, you know, they're on Facebook, whatever. Their agent sends them. They're going to organically walk in. What I want to get there is some seller prospects, okay? Especially for you ladies, since you do have other jobs, sellers are going to be your easiest leverage because you're not having to drive them all around, right?
Right.
Show them 100 houses, which
Right.
we're not going to do. We're going to show them 4 and give them a 5th one, and they're going to buy it. But listings are going to be your highest level of leverage for time. So my script that I started sharing with some agents, and they were like, what? They were blown away, was knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm doing an open house down the street at 123 Main Street on Saturday from 1 to 3. Just wanted to invite you. Could you do me a favor? They're going to be like, what? Yeah, would you come and let me know how their house compares to your house? Nosy neighbors want to come and do that anyway. You've just given them permission to do it, right? And they think they're doing you a favor, right? So can you do me a favor? And I'd like for you to tell me how this house that I'm sitting at on Saturday compares to your house. They're going to be like, heck yeah, we'll be there. All right. They come in and you say, oh, you know, and I always ask, hey, how did you hear about us? Oh, we're a neighbor. We saw you. Oh, yeah, I talked to 100 neighbors. I didn't remember everybody. Thanks for coming. So you remember the favor you're going to do for me, right? Yes, we're going to compare this house to our house. Absolutely. They're going to go through, they're going to come back, and they're going to be like, do you think they're really going to get this amount for this house? I don't know. Why do you ask? Well, if they get this for this house, we will definitely sell. Awesome. So I would love to come see your house this week. Does 2 o'clock on Tuesday work, or 5 o'clock on Friday? You just set a listing appointment. Like, well, we're not ready to sell. Great, because that's when I like to get to sellers, is when they're not ready, because then I can help you get ready. Okay, so open house is a great way to lead generate in several different ways. You door knock, you're mini interviewing at the open house, because they know when their house gets listed, you're going to go market it to the whole neighborhood. Again, right? They're seeing you work in action. So make those open houses work for you. We're going to go into that a little deeper, but I want to give you a little bit now so that you can, you know, maybe get some shadows in and get some open houses set up. And if you don't have your own listing, then you would sit for someone else, their open house, because they're not going to sit every week or whatever. So you just go around the office and say, you know, hey, who has listings? Who needs an open house? I don't know if you have a office Facebook page, but I know our office Facebook page is blowing up every day. who needs an open house for Sunday? Who needs an open house for Saturday? So they're
We
right
see
for the
that often. So I've seen emails from various agents throughout Keller Williams looking for someone to host an open house for them. And how does that work then?
You would just host it like it was your own listing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. You would let people that know, hey, I'm not the listing agent, but I am hosting today. I would be happy to come, talk to you about your listing because I do list houses. This just happens to be one I'm helping with.
Oh, okay, so that's a way to start building up your clientele.
Yep.
Okay.
And a lot of your listing agents, I would say probably 80% of the listing agents haven't knocked a door, haven't talked to the neighbors. I had one agent, open house is her jam. And she got listing after listing by doing open houses for other agents on their listing. And those agents would be like, seeing her signs pop up next to theirs, and they're like, what the heck are you doing? She goes, I'm doing what Jodi told me. I'm out knocking doors and inviting people to open house. That's it. And that agent who listed it was like, oh. So then all these producing agents, they'd come to me and they'd be like, so tell me what you're telling these new agents to do. I'm like, their job. I'm like, they're getting all these listings around my listing because they saw open house. I'm like, yeah, because they're doing their job. Do your job. The basics will never fail us, ever, ever, never. You start making money and you start getting fancy. Start getting creative. Just do the same thing that over and over again. That creates success.
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling all the truth here now. It depends on what you want to do with it. So, yes, buyers are going to also walk into your open house. So, ask what brought them out. Hey, what brought you out today? Great. And you can have a little sign-in sheet. I have them on clipboards and I just hand them to them. They ask them, fill out your info, and then there's some questions on feedback for the sellers. Super easy, but I put it on clipboard so that I can hand it to them, and then they're doing their thing while they're walking through. And then I have really great feedback for the listing agent if it's not my listing that they can then share with the seller. So now you look like a super rock star open house host for that agent. And when you do that, they will then go to you first and say, hey, I have a new listing coming on. Do you want to do open house? You won't have to ask for them anymore because they'll start coming to you because you did such a great job. You gave them good feedback. You were timely, right? So open house is the single one activity that you can do that has so many options and opportunities for business. Again, we're spending time, right? Not money right now. We're spending our time.
That's right.
And that is one activity that is worth your time. If you do a level 5. Now, if you just put a sign in the yard, not worth your time. Okay? Do a level 5. Commit to that. I promise you it'll be a great experience. All right. Any questions so far? We're wrapping up here and I'm going to give you your action items for the week.
No questions on my end. I'm following.
Awesome. Everyone call it homework. I call it action items because we're not in school. You're all adults, and if you can care to take action item, you can. If you don't, then that's your business. So we're going to prepare the 5 buyer packets. I gave you some items to put in there, whatever you want to put in there. If there's other items that other agents in your office put in, go for it. I'd like you to role play a consultation or going over an agreement with somebody, whether it's at the office or a kid or a friend or whatever. Just so you start getting comfortable with the language, how to go over it, things like that. And do you both have access to Command yet?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you to get 25 people loaded into your Command database before next Tuesday. Okay. Next one is going to be to complete your success tracker every day. Tracking your contacts and how many you add to your database. Excuse me. You won't be able to do that until online until I get the access to core squared away, but you can just keep track the next few days and then you can backdate it or just add them all in on one day. That's totally cool. And then the week in review, what we talked about in core, I'd like to have you have that done by Monday at 9 a.m. Excuse me. And for both of those, you can set an alarm in your phone, set a calendar reminder, something to make it really easy because they both take about 5 minutes, if that.
You mean with the tracking and?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
if you just set an alarm that says track, like at 7 o'clock Sunday night, every night, and then Sunday evening at 7 or whatever time works for you, as a reminder where you can sit down, get it done, and be done with it. Okay. All right. Before we go, I want you each to give me one aha. That's a thing you'll hear in Keller Williams. An aha. What did you go? Oh, or oh, that's cool, or I didn't know that, or whatever. One aha from each of you.
Well, I love, well, the aha moment for me was, and it kind of makes sense, making sure you know the buyer or the person that you're going to be sitting down with, because we have to be professional, like you mentioned, and time is really valuable for us. So kind of getting to know who the potential buyer, what their wants and needs are, and being professional going through the whole agreement, I think is like, it's a great idea to kind of set a meeting with them and going over that. So that was my aha moment rather than, being on the phone and spending time that's not needed, later down the road, you realize that the buyer's changed their mind or, you definitely want to know all that ahead of time before you go through the whole process with them.
Definitely. Good. Yeah, it saves a lot of time. If you do that up front, it saves a lot of time later on.
That's right.
Perfect. Okay. Bernadette, what was your aha?
Just about everything, because I've learned so much just sitting here. But especially the home warranties. I didn't know about the home warranties. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Great. So see if you're at the office, I don't know if you have a little information room or tech room or something that they may have some of those brochures in, or just ask.
I can ask.
Yeah.
I can ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. I love it.
I didn't know that because I sold one of my homes I sold in December, and I purchased a new one in February, and I never heard of the home warranties until just now. So that really went off like, wait a minute, why didn't you hear about this before?
Well, and I mean, I don't know how prevalent they are in your area, but I mean, they're a thing here. And so pretty much every buyer gets one, and it's for a year after closing. Like I said, it doesn't cover everything, but it does cover what it covers. And
something, because you never know what happens. It's not a brand new house. So anything that you buy is not brand new. Something can always happen, and it's good to know.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so was this a good value for your hour and a half this evening?
Absolutely.
Yay.
It was good. Do you mind if I just go over everything again one more time? I was taking my notes.
Sure.
Let's see. The website is HudsonValleyCoaching.com. That's where I would log in and look for core, and then go through the steps that we went through in core, right? And one of the good things that I've learned too is, instead of saying what you can afford, let's see what you pre-qualified to see what you can afford, just saying, let's see what, get pre-qualified so we can see what your buying power is.
Perfect.
So that was good. I like that. The list of documents that you went over so that we can make a folder is good. So I have to find out from the office, because I know they do have trainings, new agent trainings, and they went over documents and stuff like that, but I wasn't able to attend.
Right.
So I have to find out about that. And the, I think it's 7 documents that you would like for us to have in the folder, the pre-folders. one of which is the exclusive right to represent
Yep.
as a seller, right?
Buyer. Yep.
Buyer, sorry. List of wants and needs in a house, so that the client can write down what they want and need in their house.
Yep.
The other one is pre-qualifying document, a seller's disclosure, a list of either lenders or more. Can it be mortgage brokers as well?
Yeah. Anybody. Yep. Any mortgage,
Okay.
any money lenders. Yep.
Okay. A list of attorneys and home inspectors.
Yeah.
And that should be all part of the package. Let's see. That's a note for me to shadow another open house. That's for me.
Perfect.
The book that you recommended for us to get is a book called Shift by Gary Keller. And our action items for this week is, let's see, 5 buyer packets, role play with someone on as a consultation type thing, get 25 people loaded into command, and complete the success tracker every day.
Perfect. Yep.
That's it?
Yep. And your week in review.
Okay.
Week in review is in core by Monday at 9. You just do that once a week.
You and for by Monday at 9 p.m. Okay.
Awesome. Love it. I love when you guys
Thank
take
you.
notes. I'm a
I
note
enjoyed
taker.
it.
You're well. You
I
enjoyed
enjoyed
it? Yeah, I'm glad you got there.
Yeah.
That's
Actually did.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. Well, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to pour into yourselves and allowing me to have the honor of walking through this journey with you as new agents. And I'm excited to just see everyone week after week. I'm super excited. You guys were very engaging. And so this is interactive. I don't want to just be the one, blabbering the whole time. So I love that you guys were interactive. And again, if you have any questions, you have my email. My phone number is on my email. So give me a call if you need something or a text. I had a couple people yesterday text me. And as soon as we get this glitch figured out with Core, I'll get you set up. But go ahead and just keep tracking. And then you can put it in as soon as we get you guys set up on that.
Okay, thanks.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Definitely look forward to that
Awesome.
meeting
Kim, quick question. Kim, are you out of this Keller Williams in Rockland County?
in New City.
In New City, yes.
That's right.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. Nice meeting you. Because I haven't met any other newer agents here. I've only met like a few of the seasoned agents. So
hopefully I get to see you on Thursday. Will you be attending the luncheon?
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah,
But
she
one
works.
day we'll get a chance to meet.
Yeah,
Thank
that's why I love doing this night thing, because you guys don't get to see each other. And it's
Well,
like, you're going to have all sorts of new people. So
It's just unfortunate I haven't been able to, but I have to find some way to make time so I can get in during the daytime.
yeah. And if you guys know any other new agents in your office that you think should be on these coaching calls, I'd be happy to reach out to them or have Louise or someone reach out to them. And I appreciate you guys being here tonight. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Thank you too.
Okay. Finish your week strong. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.